Whatever you do, don't pick a CRM for your MSP until you've heard this, and especially if you're looking at HubSpot. The system you use to manage marketing with your prospects has to be a good match for your business. Otherwise, you could have a very costly waste of time on your hands. So which is the right CRM for MSPs? Have you been considering systems like MailChimp, MailerLite, Growably from the Tech Tribe, or even HubSpot? 8 months ago, I switched my business to HubSpot. So let's review it 8 months on and see if I'd recommend it for your MSP. On the 14th of April 2009, I first committed to my first serious CRM. It was called Infusionsoft. I know the date because I've still got the welcome email. Now, back then, I owned a different business, actually one I sold in 2016, just before entering the channel. But even back then, I knew that finding and committing to good software that sat at the heart of my marketing was critical. And at the time, Infusionsoft was the hot property. In fact, I'd say it was instrumental in our success building that business. It allowed me to build up a large audience of prospects. I had 12,000 of them in that last business. And using Infusionsoft, I could grow a relationship with those prospects using content marketing, all sent out in that CRM. And I had a telesales team whose job was to call those prospects and book them in meetings with our salespeople. And that allowed us to convert the relationships from prospects into clients. I look back now at that 2009 to 2016 period and realize that was kind of a golden time for Infusionsoft. Because since then, it really has gone off the boil. First, there was a focus on not just being a CRM and a marketing platform, but becoming a payment platform as well. And then the original founders left. And then the new kind of people that took over, the new management team, they rebranded it as Keep, K-E-A-P, and they created a second CRM, which seemed to do the same things as the first CRM, but in a different way. And then the original founder took control again, and then they tried to bring those two products together as one, and I'm not quite sure how successful that was. And then they were trying to turn themselves into an automation business, but there was no clear roadmap of what that meant or how they were going to do it. And they also massively hiked up the prices. Now, I've been using Infusionsoft or Keep in the MSP Marketing Edge since day one, since we opened that in 2017. And I've been feeling for a while, up to last year, that we needed to change our CRM. But our use of it was so extensive. I mean, it was weaved throughout the whole of the MSP Marketing Edge that the thought of migrating to something new made me feel sick inside. Because as I say, we don't just use it for our marketing, we run all of our portal automation, all of our clever stuff gets run through the CRM. And the trigger that caused me to change happened in October last year, so in 2024, when Keep was sold to a company called Thrive, Thryv. And I decided that that was a fire sale, just based on the sale price that was sold compared to their revenue. That was my trigger to move. There were only really two CRMs that we took seriously. The first was GoHighLevel, which, as you may know, powers Growably in the Tech Tribe and a whole load of other platforms used across the channel. So if you're with a vendor that offers you a CRM or any kind of marketing level automation, the chances are pretty high that they've built it on GoHighLevel, because that's what that does. It gives you something that you can white label for your agency or your platform. And we looked very seriously at this for a long time because the pricing is very good. But we found it a bit buggy, and because it had been built to be white labeled, to do what we wanted to do with it would have required a huge amount of development time, probably another full-time developer. So instead, we decided to migrate to HubSpot. And as I stand here, 8 months on, I am still highly impressed with the HubSpot product. It's amazing. And I realized how much using Keep was holding us back. Using HubSpot has allowed us to do more things across more channels and connect all of our activity together in the back end so much more easily. You can automate so many more things, and now we're held back by our ideas rather than functionality. And what I mean by that is it's very rare for us to come up with an idea and then not be able to figure out a way to do it on HubSpot. It's now quick and easy to spin out new marketing initiatives, to generate landing pages that allow me to launch those initiatives within 24 hours of thinking of them. And I can track exactly what prospects are doing on our website and on email and some other platforms to a certain extent. We get an idea what they're doing on social media. you are a bit restricted by the actual social media platforms themselves rather than HubSpot. But there's more and more things that you can put into HubSpot and integrate, and it all just acts together. It's amazing. Increasingly, my team and I are spending more time in HubSpot, encouraging more engagement and more marketing activity with our prospects. And our database is growing as well. Our ability to see who is a good fit for our MSP Marketing Edge is getting better all the time. Right down to, we can even see which of the prospects in our database are in available areas. A key part of the MSP Marketing Edge is that we only sell it to one MSP per area. And that's a genuine lock. When we're working with someone, let's say in your area, we won't work with anyone else. So being able to narrow our prospect list down to, we've got around about 1,000 MSPs in our database who are in an available area. They could buy what we sell. And this is incredibly powerful. And the ability to do that is completely automated. No human has to do anything to maintain that list, which is constantly changing every single day. I love it. So overall, I am very happy with HubSpot. I do have, for balance, 2 complaints, and both of them 8 months on are minor complaints at this stage. But the first is that I found the onboarding to be a massive headache. The lady onboarding us was very pleasant to deal with and she knew her stuff. But standing back and taking a big picture view, it was really poorly informed. None of the info that we handed out during the very long sales process was passed on to the onboarding lady. And it was really frustrating having to explain our business again and how we were going to use it, because we were a complicated case. We weren't just the CRM. We were going to use it to power our portal, and we're doing that migration now. It was actually very stressful. During the onboarding, they set some arbitrary deadlines for when the onboarding must be completed. And those were often thrown at me almost as like a punishment because I got a little bit behind on the things that I said I'd do. And almost every single call started with, oh, you need to hit this deadline. You need to be off onboarding by a week on Thursday. I guess because the onboarding person had targets to hit. And at one point I said, I do feel like the tail is wagging the dog here. I've paid a lot of money for onboarding and I'm being beaten up during that onboarding because it was also wildly expensive. We paid a few £1,000s or dollars for mandatory onboarding, and there was no choice to skip that, which I do understand as it ensures that, new clients use the software. But it was kind of useful, but it was also the worst value for money for anything I've bought in the last few years. We ended up hiring a HubSpot consultant who is amazing, and he's still working with us today. Side note, if you would like a referral into our HubSpot consultant, just send me a DM or just comment on this post and I'll give you his details. He's been invaluable in integrating HubSpot into our business, but he was an external consultant outside of HubSpot. And of course, he's a cost as well. He's cost us thousands and thousands of pounds, none of which I anticipated when I started migration. And I don't resent that at all, but obviously the bill has been high. The overall HubSpot bill has been high, which leads me on to my other complaint, the cost of HubSpot. You really do pay through the nose for every single bit of functionality that you want to use. And let's not beat around the bush. What they have designed is amazing. It's an amazing piece of software that works very well. It's logical. It has a few bugs, but those bugs get fixed. There's very few things in HubSpot that you cannot do. There's very few things that you can't figure out. It all seems to follow the same kind of flow. Someone somewhere, or a whole team of people somewhere, have really thought through a lot of how they've built it. As a SaaS piece of software, it is insanely good. If all of my SaaS software was that good, it would be great. But it also encourages you to use new functionality in a way which makes you want something and then realize to get that, you've got to move up a tier, or you've got to add on another seat, or you've got to add another bolt on or something. In my first few months using it, I'd get so frustrated because there'd be a piece of functionality which I really wanted, we needed it, and it meant I had to go up another new tier or buy more new credits for something or something like that. Now I'm working well within my boundaries of what we've got available, but I'm still spending £1,500 a month, which is around about $2,000 a month. And of course, I've got my HubSpot consultants bill on top of that, just for a few more months until we get our full migration finished. For context, my keep bill was around about $400 a month. So I've gone from $400 a month up to $2,000 a month. It's a big jump, but overall, I'm not unhappy. So would I recommend HubSpot to an MSP? Yes and no. I believe you'd only get the full value out of it if you really use it. And that probably means a full-time marketer. So if you've got a full-time marketer in your business, HubSpot is a great choice. If you don't, and especially if you as the MSP owner or manager is doing your marketing along with the 4 million other things that you need to do, then I believe it's probably overkill for you. And as I say, it is so expensive if you want to use all of the toys. For most MSPs, in fact, for 80% of MSPs, a basic CRM really is good enough. If you're just using it as a place to kind of keep all of your prospects and just send emails to them and maybe do a bit of extra marketing once or twice a month, you don't need anything more than MailChimp or MailerLite, something like that. Or just join the tech tribe and get Growably. It's only the 20% of MSPs, probably the bigger MSPs, definitely those with a full-time marketer, that will really use the advanced functionality of the more comprehensive tool. You know, I spend 80% of my time marketing my business, and even then, we've barely touched 50% of what's available to us in HubSpot. We're working our way through it. But even for us, where, we are a marketing business that does a lot of marketing on our own business, it's still a very big toolkit with lots and lots of things. We've no way maxed it out. So yes, HubSpot, amazing toolkit. And if you've got a big marketing operation in your MSP, I can definitely recommend it. But do be prepared to hand over a kidney to pay for it.
Paul Green's MSP Marketing Edge.